Hi everyone, I'm just going to do a review on Graceling by Kristen Kershaw. I've been looking forward to reading this one for quite a while because I've heard some really good things. I know there's lots of mixed reviews out there, and I've actually been discovering a lot of negative reviews as well in my research. But my friend Fran recommended it to me, and I certainly trust Fran's opinion. And I was not disappointed at all. To me, this is a 5-star book. Reading it, I was reminded a lot, for different reasons, of the Newton Chronicles. I know that a lot of people have said that they feel they can't make much of a connection to the heroine, the protagonist Katza, in the series, and I sometimes feel that way with Elspeth in the Newton Chronicles, because she's incredibly reserved emotionally, and so you can't necessarily empathise with her a lot of the time. I actually found, though, that I could really track Katza's emotional journey and her growth emotionally in this novel, and I actually found it really touching when she was discovering just really humane aspects about herself and about how she would relate to others and react to things internally, things that she wasn't aware of, because in some ways she'd been so socially stunted because of her killing Grace, her fighting Grace, and how it had been manipulated within the kingdom. And yeah, I just found that really, really moving. But it wasn't anything overt, and the most important thing I felt was that it never really changed the core of who she was from the beginning, and more on that later because I'll probably start ranting. Yeah, I thought the world of the Seven Kingdoms was really, really cool. I liked following. I had to keep going back to the map and following their progress, which I'm glad it was mapped out in detail here to know exactly where they were. I will say the middle of the book did drag a little bit when they were travelling. It actually reminded me for some reason of The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula Le Guin, just when they were travelling in the harsh, extreme cold of the mountains. I kept thinking of The Left Hand of Darkness, which is a good thing, because I like that book. Yeah, the world of the Seven Kingdoms was really clear to me. The concept of the Gracelings and their different skills and how they were being used by their kings and where they stood in their communities as well. I thought all that was clear and a really, really cool concept. I was a huge fan both of Katza's friendship with Poe and of her romantic relationship with him as well. I did love that they were just mates for the first, I don't know, quarter of the book, I guess. The transition from friendship into romance did seem a bit swift, but it still worked, and I think that once that side of things was opened up, it was really, really nice to see. And I like it's so much a relationship of equals, and I didn't expect to like Poe, but I finally found a hero that I'm actually a fan of. I really like him. He's sweet, and he is funny without being like a sarcastic tool like so many others are, and not at all controlling or manipulative, and just he gets her and she gets him, and it's really, really nice to read about those two, and I wish them luck in the future. I guess I'll probably have to start my rant, I suppose, a little bit. A lot of people seem to have some issues with this novel and this heroine because of two views she has on her life, being that she doesn't want to marry and she has no interest in having children. And people seem to think that it's either Kristen Kershaw pushing the independence of the character too far and making it too extreme, and sort of doing it for the sake of saying this is a fiercely independent, strong-willed woman. Other people feel that it's just an aspect of the character that pushes her away from readers emotionally because they can't connect. I understand these opinions, I completely do, and everyone's entitled to feel that way if that's how you feel. It's just the extremity of some of the reviews I've read and how harsh people were on this subject, and just the issues that it raises as a result. So I just thought I'd put my 2 cents out there because everyone else has, so why not? To me, I myself have honestly, sincerely never wanted to marry, and I've never been interested in having children. It's just not, it's a part of me that is there, I suppose, or at least it's not a dormant part of me. And so reading those sentiments expressed by a main character in a novel was not only refreshing for me, but just a really nice way to connect. And I think if you can discover something in a novel that is speaking the same truths that you feel, it can just, I don't know, it can just be a really, really emotional and important moment in your reading, and it reminds you why reading can be so special. And that was something that was so significant for me when reading this book. And the fact that Katza feels that she doesn't have to explain the reasoning behind why she feels this way was also really important to me, because there's always that arrogant, condescending assumption when people turn to you immediately and say, oh, well, you'll change your mind, or you'll feel differently someday, don't worry. And she says, like, in her words, like, they know my heart, they know the workings of my heart better than I do. Of course they don't. So I loved that. I love that she challenged them on that. And the fact that you don't have to explain if you say to somebody, oh, well, I never want to get a tattoo in my life, or a body piercing, I never want to travel to this country, I never want to do this as a profession. You don't have to necessarily explain why that is inherently true for you, and yet these two things for being a female, to say you don't want to marry or you don't want to bear children, is such a taboo thing still. It really grates on my nerves. And I like that she stuck to her guns, and she still felt the same way at the end of this novel. I don't think that's a spoiler. It's just a character trait for her. She stayed that way. She didn't change her mind. Poe didn't challenge her, and it honestly didn't seem to bother him. And I really, really liked that. I think that it never felt like Kristen Cashore was trying to make a statement through it. It was just, it felt right for the character, and I'm so glad that she was consistently written in that way. And for me, it just really, really worked. So I just thought I'd say that. I really look forward to reading the sequel to this, which is going to be entitled Bitterblue. I really liked the character of Bitterblue. I thought it was really refreshing to have a child who was so resilient and doing everything that she was doing, and even the way she was speaking. A lot of people have mentioned that they feel she was speaking too eloquently and too intelligently for her age, but it is historically written, so it would have been a different time in terms of their education and things. I just really like her character, and I think she'll be an awesome protagonist to follow in the next book. I am now reading Fire. I only just started it though, but I'm looking forward to it very much. And I'm still reading Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, which I'm enjoying immensely, and that far along. So, yeah. But 5 stars out of 5 stars for Graceling. I recommend it. Yeah, I recommend it, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, so that's all for now. I hope my rant didn't turn everybody off. Okay, so bye everybody, and happy reading.